Hey, what's up? What's going on, people? It's the Black Quarterback Forum, blackqbsineffect.com. And I just said I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's episode 6.
Episode 6,
Episode 6.
week 2.
Week 2 of the regular season. We did all that preseason stuff. And once again, we just want to say thank you. If you're watching the videos, just make some comments. Like I said, we just want to hear some feedback because we know y'all love football. We're going to talk about football in the entirety. And, of course, we focus on black quarterbacks. But just want to get this out the way. I'm wearing me a Teddy Bridgewater jersey. Teddy Bridgewater, when he played for Carolina Panthers, I bought me a nice new hat. And Teddy Bridgewater played for a lot of teams. Okay? Drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know if you remember, he broke his leg right on that second or third year when he was on his way up. And I don't think he's been the same since, confidence and everything. But he was going to be really good at Minnesota. I don't know if you remember.
Right? No, I do.
Right. He was on his way. So
he's been solid everywhere he played. Right. He's been solid.
Yeah, he has. He's a backup, but they know they can bring Teddy in. So, but also I'm wearing this jersey today to help out Bryce Young and the Panthers because between them and the Cardinals, I don't know. Y'all can make a bet who y'all think gonna win the game first. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I bet on the Panthers. The Cardinals gonna find a way to lose. They're gonna find a way to lose.
So, I don't know, man. I was looking at the games this week. Well, we know the Cardinals. Well, they play the Cowboys, and the Panthers. They got a tough game too. I forget at the moment, but they got a tough game. But so as we like to get into it, like I said, we look at the whole NFL. So we came up with our own little tiers of teams who we think are where they are after 2 weeks, right? It's just a small sample size, right? It's only 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So not a whole lot. So, I was just going to change, right? Everybody make changes in the NFL. Not just the teams who make changes at halftime, but everybody talks about the NFL. Everything changes with them all based on this week. Well, I liked them last week, but I don't like them this week, So I don't think anybody would disagree that in the NFC, the top 4 teams, no particular order, right? Niners, Cowboys, Eagles, Saints, right? No one would disagree with that.
I would agree that's the top 4.
The top 4.
Top 4, top tier 1.
Right. Top tier, right? And we say that they have the best percentage chance of winning the conference and going on to the Super Bowl. We ain't talking about who's going to win the Super Bowl or nothing like that. Just they are the best 4 after 2 weeks. In the AFC, this is where we disagree a little bit. I say there's 4 teams, Ravens, Dolphins, and Chiefs. No one would disagree. I put the Bills in the top 4 as well. But my man.
I feel like the AFC is a 3-team race between Miami, Kansas City, and the Ravens. Those are the 3 teams right now that look the best out the chute, look the most efficient, offensively, defensively sound. But that would be my top tier in the AFC would be Miami, Kansas City, Ravens. NFC, I agree. Those 4 teams, Niners, Cowboys, Eagles, Saints, you know what I mean, are definitely in the top tier in the NFC.
Right. So I like this tier thing because one of the shows I watch, the guy, he has his own tiers. I do a little different. So I just thought, let me try something myself. So I think it's fun. So like the second tier in the AFC, we're going to go back and forth. I say the second tier are the Lions, Rams, Vikings, and Seahawks. So
for me, I think the Vikings I would bump down to tier 3. I just don't see them as a second tier team. You know what I mean?
If they clean up the mistakes, just during the regular season, if they clean up, they would have beat Philly without all.
But you got a quarterback that doesn't win in prime time. He doesn't win when it counts. He's going to beat up on the teams. His career record against teams in the playoffs is like 12-49.
Yeah.
Of teams who made the playoffs. So, and you starting off 0-2. This Sunday going to be amazing because you got Vikings, Chargers. One of them teams definitely going home. As we announce these tiers, one of these teams definitely going home.
And you don't want to be 0-3.
You don't want to. Statistically, that's not a good spot for you to make the playoffs.
Right.
You can pretty much start, as we said, week 1 when we first did that first video. Beginning of the season, Super Bowl. Week 3, draft. Some teams' season that quick. That quick.
It's hype and hope and the future, people. It's always about one of those 3 things with the NFL. Either they're hyping next week, they're hoping for this week was the future. Okay. So in the AFC, my tier 2 are the Jets. Yeah, I told you I got love for the Jets, despite everything. And I told y'all why to be in it because as a diehard Cowboy fan years ago, I liked everything out of New York except the Giants. So I like the Jets. I got the Bengals, Titans, and Jags, just based on their quarterbacks, primarily, for what everybody tells me. So that's my tier for the AFC.
See, for me, I got 3 teams in tier 2, and I got one team in the 2.5. So you can trend up or down. It's up to you. You're in the 2.5. But my 3 teams in the tier 2, the Jaguars, the Bills, and the Titans. The Titans, I really didn't have a lot of faith in them. My brothers was on my head about the Titans. Oh, they did. One of them even think they was going to win the division. I'm like, you crazy. But both games they've been in it. They beat the Chargers at home in overtime, come back. They're a gritty team, good coaching, can run the ball, solid defense. That's all you need for success. And as of right now, looks like it was a lot of hype for a lot of these AFC teams coming into the season right now. A lot of hype. Hype. But my 2.5 team, and they can go either way. They can go either way, and that would be the Cincinnati Bengals. Ravens are their arch nemesis. Joe Burrow just doesn't play well against the Ravens defense. Statistically, those are probably some of his worst games.
Lamar is like what, 7-1?
6-1.
6-1 against the Ravens.
7-1. 7-1. And the one game he lost, that was a huge game for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, that was that 500-yard passing game. Chase went crazy. Marlon Humphreys looked bad. And he said, I will never look like that again. And Chase I don't think, got over 50 yards since. He had 36 yards last weekend. And the crazy thing is Chase walked off the field. I don't know if a lot of people saw that. On one that second touchdown to T. Higgins, Chase, the ball got knocked out of his hands. It was 2nd or 3rd and goal. Jamar Chase just walked off the field. Was he upset? Upset. But we in goal line and we need a touchdown right now. How can you walk off the field?
He wasn't on the next play?
No, he walked off the field.
Really?
He said, no, I'm out here. Walked off the field. Go look it up and watch the game if you don't believe me.
Man, old school cats would never do nothing like that.
No, just value and inside heart and really wanting to win won't allow you to do that.
Right.
Want character. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of these people don't have is the character. You know what I mean? So they can't do it. But Jamar Chase did walk off the field.
All right, so tier 3 in the NFC. Atlanta, Packers, Giants, and Commanders.
To me, that's a solid tier 3. I agree. All of those, I would have the Vikings down there in tier 3 too. But also for the tier 2, well, I'll just wait. But, as far as all of those teams, I feel like those teams all can go either way.
Yeah,
I feel like all of those teams, the worst case, probably going to be 500 football teams at the end of the year. Solid for a tier 3. I agree with all
There's
of those.
a lot of young quarterbacks with the Packers, Falcons, and Commanders. And Giants, they up and down. I mean,
are they really, though? You got smoked 40-0 and you should have lost to the Cardinals. That's terrible. And now Barkley out for 3 weeks.
But they got Danny Dimes.
And they should have only paid him a dime. That's what they should have did. They should have only paid him a dime. They do got Waller. Waller is good.
They got good receivers too.
No.
Shepard.
They got young. Okay.
Okay, move on, guys.
The Chiefs got good receivers too.
Ooh, wow. That cuts deep, bro. Okay. In the AFC, my tier 3 are Chargers, Colts, Steelers, and I got Chargers listed twice.
Browns.
And Browns. So I had to move somebody down. Browns. So there you go. Steelers, Colts, Chargers, and Browns.
My tier 3, it's a little overloaded. I got 5 teams in the tier 3. I got the Chargers, the Raiders, the Steelers, the Browns, and the Colts. I probably could have even maybe added the Colts to that 2.5 tier because the Colts look like they might be on something special. They playing right now. They playing. So, technically they probably should be 2-0 right now. And that's against the Jags week 1, Texans week 2. But again, when you're playing a bad team, you're supposed to jump out and whoop that bad team. They jumped up early and big. That game was over 7 minutes into the game. It was already over. You know who won it. And that's what you're supposed to do when you play a bad team. They handled the Jags way better than the Ravens did in week 1. Ravens struggled a little bit through that first half. But that would be my tier 3, Chargers, Raiders, Steelers, Browns, and Colts. Be my tier 3 in the AFC.
All right, in the NFC, my last ones are Panthers, Cardinals, Bears. And I had the Bucks down here, but I didn't realize the Bucks are 2-0. So I'm going to put them I'm gonna move the Bucks from my tier 4 up to at least tier. I got a 2.5. That's the Bucks on my side. The Bucks.
I got the Bucks. That's what I was gonna say earlier. I got the Bucks to me as a tier 2 team, and it's solely based on the defense. Like defense, efficient play at quarterback. That's signs and signal for success. So I really feel like the Bucks. I would right now put them in my tier 2 in the NFC. But the other three, definitely the bottom dwellers. You could probably at this point now maybe even bump the Giants down there, unfortunately, to tier 4, maybe, if you want to keep going forward. But
I don't know why I got a little love for the Giants. I don't think the Giants are that bad.
They're not that good either.
I know. And you think I would hate them.
Yeah. Being a Cowboys fan.
Former people. Okay, last tier, and I got some teams mixed up, but the last three I got in the AFC are the Broncos, Texans, and Patriots. And I know the Patriots fans are like, whatever, but they're going to be 0-3 after this weekend because they're not going to win wherever they play. I forget where it is, but they're not winning the game.
See, my tier 4 in the AFC, I got the Broncos, Texans, Jets, and Patriots. That's my tier 4. At most of it, I don't want to necessarily say that entire division bad quarterback play, but we'll talk about something on the next segment. Just AFC South. Just bad quarterback play, like Russ, CJ, Jets, Patriots, like so. But it's not terrible quarterback play, but just not winning quarterback play, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we're about to get into that. So that's our tiers. We just having a little fun. We just want to have fun here at the Black Quarterback Forum, blackquarterbacksineffect.com, people. So then, obviously, they talk about dominant defenses, and I like to look at efficient offenses as opposed to dominant defenses because with the rules they have today, I think if your offense is efficient, we're going to give some examples and talk about it. My man's going to talk about what he calls empty calories. But as an example, a couple of games, and there was a lot of games, obviously, and there's no bye, so everybody's playing. But a couple of games to me where the quarterback was supremely efficient. Well, for starters, with the Ravens and the Bengals. I don't care whether you like the Ravens or not. Lamar Jackson was very efficient, and I'm going to get into his numbers in detail. But just watching that game, watch him drop back, make the read, make the correct pass, or get out of harm's way and get the first down, or whatever the case. But my most, what I like, efficient drive of the weekend was the one that Geno Smith had in overtime against the Lions. Now, I was joking with my man Smeez before the video that at the end of that game, when the betting restarted with Vegas, where, okay, regular game over, you can bet on who's going to win the game again in overtime. I'm sure you can do that, right? I don't gamble. I spend all my money on jerseys and hats, people, and other things I can't discuss here. But anyway, that's what I spend my money on, jerseys and sports stuff. I don't gamble on football. It's too crazy. But I guarantee you the majority of people probably said the Lions are going to win, right? You would think. They at home, had the crowd, at Aiden Hutchinson on their side, defensive player, a rookie of the year last year, right?
Runner-up.
Runner-up, okay. You know what I'm saying? So you would think Geno gets the ball and goes right down the field. I mean, precision, right? If you saw that, he may have missed on a throw. I can't remember. I did rewatch it, but I don't think he did. Every pass was like right where the receiver needed it.
Yep.
And if you remember, in the very first series of the game, he did the same thing. So that's why I argue, and we go back and forth about it, I'll take the hot quarterback. Now, when I say hot quarterback, at any point, especially late in the game, but on any team, black or white, whatever the quarterback that's making them laser throws, the receivers are catching it, give me that guy late in the game. Geno Smith did it. Now, in the Titans-Chargers game, it took a couple of series, but Tannehill moved him down the field to kick the field goal to win. Yeah. So all these dominant defenses, I prefer to look at efficient offenses because to me, you got a good quarterback like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and even some of them other cats in other places. I'll take the defense. But we get empty calories in some cases, which are.
And the empty calories, what I mean by that is just, back in the day, we used to call them stat padders. Now I call them empty calories. So if I told you going into Saturday, Kirk Cousins is going to be 70% completion rate, 4 touchdowns, 325 yards passing. You're going to think the Vikings won 42-10. Vikings was out of that game by the middle of the first quarter. Middle of the second quarter for sure, the game was over. And then here come those empty calories. Empty calories. And it's just in crunch time when we need that play, the play can't be made. Russ, you look at Russ every week, 220, 250, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, maybe an interception. He comes out hot, but then at the end of the day, it results in an L. You got the Al-Boogie.
That was so crazy, that game, man.
The Al-Boogie. Mac Jones is another one that in empty calories, you look at the stat line, everything looks good, everything looks great, but it's just that 3 and out 2 times in a row. Or you can't pick up that first down in the fourth quarter to keep the drive alive. That results in the L. You know what I mean? Then going back to efficient quarterback play, Mahomes, he didn't have a great day, but he kept the offense on the field just enough to go into Jacksonville and win a 17-9 game, 17-7. Low scoring game. I thought that was going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend, that Jaguars Kansas City game. But he did just enough, kept the offense on the field just enough efficient, kept the offense rolling. As Al-Boogie said, Lamar, that was probably one of the better games I've seen Lamar play, and I've seen every single game Lamar played. Just the decision making, the choices. Literally, I've seen every Lamar Jackson
I believe
game.
you.
You know what I mean? It's efficient. Tua,
I believe
I throw Tua in the efficient category. Tua may give you some interceptions. He may give you a fumble. But on that fourth quarter, 3 minutes left, we need a drive. Tua going to take you down the field. We need to get a couple first downs to eat the clock up and secure the lead. Tua going to make those plays. That's efficient when it counts, not the empty calories when it counts.
Right.
And then another one again, because we've established all quarterbacks, and this topic is mainly empty calories to efficiency. Brock Purdy right now is probably one of the most efficient quarterbacks right now in the game right now playing. Efficient out there in San Francisco.
And he made the Steelers defense look average, right?
Yeah. And we'll get into what the Steelers defense did just in a little bit. We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
He made them look average. So
it might just be DTR time. It might be DTR time. I'm just saying. We'll get into that a little bit later.
So, we having fun, NFL is a crazy game. The ball bounced funny, right? A lot of pick sixes. We just talking about a lot of fumbles.
Yeah.
I look at the NFL right now, that ball looks shiny. Is it?
I don't know.
I was like, is that shiny? Is it grippy or is it slippery?
I think it's slippery because it looks slick.
I know
real slick. It ain't no. You get by the ball at Target, Walmart, got some rivets in it. You can feel a little bit. That ball look like.
I know it.
Slick.
That's how it happened.
Slick back jack. You know what I'm saying? Slick back jack.
So, hey, check it out. About to get into some statisticals of the black quarterbacks and how they did. And like I said, before we start, we can talk about the whole show about Lamar Jackson. Okay, seriously, people, really, that's efficiency. If you ain't watched that game, go just do the highlights. They got YouTube on all football outside of the regular games. Any highlights you want to see, YouTube, right?
Yeah.
They got all the highlights. Every highlight ever made. But anyway, in the NFC, let me get into some of these black quarterbacks. What they did. We'll talk about the losers first. Oh, boy, there's some bad losses here. So I'm not going to go into all the stats, right? Justin Fields lost. Not look good, right? His career as a starter is suspect.
It's dangling in the wind right now.
Because they could bench him at some point in time, right? Who would be argued? They're going to be 0-3 after this week. I can't remember all the games. I try to have it up right in front of me, but they got a tough game wherever they. Oh, Kansas City. That one comes.
That's a double-digit loss.
Right. Sure. That's going to be ugly. So Jordan Love, one of my favorite young quarterbacks, he lost. He going to learn from that game. Trust me. He don't have his best receiver on the team. Wait till that guy comes in. Number 9, I think it's Christian
Watson.
Watson. Yes, thank you. But I looked at his numbers, and funny thing about quarterbacks, he's got 6 touchdowns. Him and Kirk Cousins. Empty calories for Kirk Cousins, though, right? 6 touchdowns.
Absolutely.
And 2 losses.
And Justin Jefferson doesn't have one on the season. Imagine that.
He ain't got no touchdowns?
No touchdowns.
You think he might walk off the field, huh?
No. He got good character.
He was raised differently. He was raised differently. Okay.
Good character player. I love to have Justin Jefferson in my locker room.
All right. Okay. Jamar Chase? No. All right.
Jury's still out.
But I love some Justin Love. I'm going to get his jersey real soon. Trust me on that. So he looked good in the loss. Then Bryce Young, they just need help. I mean, they need a lot of help. I mean, more than me just wearing this jersey. I mean, they need help that like really God needs.
They just need some players. Like,
right.
Some playmakers.
He just threw the feeling. Feeling getting old. I mean, he's separated. Okay, so like, I posted some video. I always try to post highlights, right? At least Bryce is trying to throw to guys that might as open as we talked about.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, they got to be like open, like I don't know.
Like you got 2-3 inches in football. Yeah.
Right.
Justin Fields, he wants to see you with no defender within 5 yards.
Right.
Before he lets it go. And that ain't happening in the NFL. It ain't happening. You got to throw him open. The good quarterbacks throw him open.
Right. And Justin is not doing that. He's just very hesitant. So the winners in the NFC, Desmond Ridder, he was 19 for 32, 237 yards, throwing the ball down the field, 7.4.
Good average.
He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He was rushed for 10 attempts for 39 yards, and he was sacked 1 sack minus 2 yards. So total of 235 yards passing. His QBR was 71.6, and his rating was 79.8. The QBR is crazy. It means nothing. It means everything, and everything in between. Whatever you want it to mean.
Sometimes it matches up like, oh yeah, it should be that, and sometimes it just makes you scratch your head.
Right. I mean, so Jalen Hurts, just to go QBR real quickly, 44.7. He won that game, but that was a game where the Vikings were turned over like 3 times, right?
Yeah.
And so if the Vikings cut down on their turnover, they'll be in season good, right? I mean
no turnovers is a good way to win a game.
You got to start not giving the other team like extra possessions.
Yeah.
And Jalen's pretty good. We already established that, right? So he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He was 18 for 22, 193 yards, minus the 4 sacks. He was 171. He was throwing the ball down the field. Now, he's got good receivers.
He does.
And A.J. Brown. And
A.J. Brown, again, like, they got into a fight on the sideline. Like,
right? I know. A.J. Bad character.
Some people just want to be bigger than the team.
Well.
And it's not the team. That's why I like Baltimore.
The other dude ain't like that, Devontae Smith.
No. But Devontae Smith eat. So you ain't going to get like that when you eat. When the plate get empty, that's when he gets.
A.J. Brown ain't getting the ball enough?
No, that's what he feels. He ain't, though. But it's not by lack of attempts. He's getting the targets. He just ain't coming down with them.
Oh, okay. My man knows. Look, when Sunday starts, right, as all this analyzing that I'm doing now, I'm the biggest fan ever when Sunday starts, okay? Trust me. I'm rooting for all my black quarterbacks. Anyway, Dak Prescott. What I didn't understand this past week, I watched some of the morning show, and I had to they spent like a half an hour, 40 minutes plus talking about the Jets and the Cowboys. Like, the Jets really had a chance in that game.
I mean, I think the angle on that was the Jets' defense would stop the run and put pressure on Dak and force Dak into some bad situations. And the Jets were close. It got ugly late, but the Jets kept it close and got, like, it was close, 7-3 points for most of the game. It was a close game. Then the Cowboys kind of pulled off because obviously the defense didn't get a touchdown, no special team touchdown.
Right.
But that's what the angle was the Jets' defense forcing Dak to have a bad game, which he didn't have. So
is that why Sauce deleted his Twitter account? Because Sauce Gardner and one of the other guys deleted their Twitter accounts because they didn't want to hear it. Because they weren't defending from the Jets so much they're gonna have a historic team. I don't think so. But anyway, Dak he didn't have to do much. He had 2 touchdown passes. He was 31 for 38. I threw the ball a lot. 255, 6.7. So he's going past, 5 yards. Yep. He rushed 6 for 14. Not much there. Dak just move around when he have to. But the QBR, 86.8 and a rating of 112.2. Okay, but here's my 2 favorite of the weekend. Lamar Jackson, like we said, very efficient. And I could talk about him the whole show, but 0 sacks, people. 0 sacks.
And that was with a backup center and backup left tackle.
Right.
Most people backup left tackle, they lose in the game. Backup center, which is the start of the offense, and a backup left tackle.
And he was 24 for 33, 237 yards, 7.2 average, 2 TDs. He had 81.8, QBR and 112.8, if I can slow down here and talk, rating, and 12 for 54 rushing, which, whatever. If you win the game, these numbers are irrelevant to me. It's like if you lose the game, then maybe they're relevant. Like, okay, you lost and you're not that great of a quarterback. You suck. But when you win the game and you saw consistency, and like I said, if you watch that game with Lamar, we talk about him a lot. We love Lamar, it's obviously. But not just us, but the regular people out there doing this for a living. He just looks so in control of the offense. And Cincinnati it was never in doubt from the very first drive.
So they took that first drive and they was in control the whole game.
Exactly. The whole game, if you watch the game. My other favorite player from the weekend was Geno. And I got to give my man some time here. Is Geno. I loved how Geno went down the field in overtime. Geno, it says sacked 1 for 17. That was that crazy play late in the game where he running around like a chicken with his head cut off and he loses all them yards. Allows the Lions to come back to kick the field goal, to go into overtime. In overtime, like I said, laser precision earlier, just down the field, yak, 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 yak. And I just thought that Lions were going to win that game, but they didn't. So there you go. Efficient offense beats defense.
That's why Geno didn't make my efficient list, because that sack. Had he got a first down right there, the field goal, the overtime, all that be irrelevant. Efficiency is what wins the ball game, fellas.
There you go.
Now, breaking down the AFC, there wasn't really a whole lot happening. A lot of low scoring. Seemed like a lot of defense, but I think more it was a lot of just bad offense, mainly in the AFC this past weekend. A lot of bad offense. You know what I mean? And that's what, going back to the hype, hope. I feel like there was a lot of hype for a lot of these teams. I mean, who didn't think the Bills was just going to run out on the Raiders and dog them? Like, obviously, so I'm not putting too much weight into the 30 points the Bills put up on the Raiders. But in general, overall AFC, I think a lot of bad and inefficient offensive play. Patrick Mahomes, 29 for 41, 76% completion, 305 yards on the day, 7.4 yards per pass attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 1 time, 7 yards. The QBR rating, you'd think that'd be a great day, right? QBR 71.1, QB rating, our overall rating 98.1. Mahomes really didn't do a lot. It seemed like they were kind of hanging around that red zone a whole lot. Jacksonville kind of kept them from getting in there. I don't know if it was necessarily receiver play, lack of run, but, they had a lot of attempts, kicked a few field goals, but at the end of the day, he kept the offense, as we spoke in regards to the efficiency, kept the offense on the field. Anytime you can keep the other team's offense on the field, you can limit the points scored, which pretty much that's what they did. That's how they escaped with that win. Keep the defense on, keep their defense on, and keep their offense off. You know what I mean? Like, anytime you can do that, you got a good shot at winning the game. Mm-hmm. The next game was an interesting matchup, 2 first-round picks. I thought it was actually a pretty good game. Indianapolis and Texas. You had Anthony Richardson. Crazy thing, again, the QBR thing. He had 6 for 10 pass attempts in the game, 60%, 56 yards, 5.6 yards per pass attempt. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He did lead the Colts' first 2 drives of the game on TD drives, coming right out. Boom, boom. Real quick, TD. Both of them rushing touchdowns. You know what I mean? One, I think, was 18 yards, one 17 yards. He had 3 rushes for 35 yards, so you see he's trying to stay in the pocket. But on that second touchdown run, pretty much came out with a concussion. You know what I mean? So we'll see if he plays this weekend. I was really looking forward to seeing him play against that Baltimore defense.
Me too.
So we'll see how that pans out for him coming up to week 3. But his QBR, again, 6 for 10, 56 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 2 rushing touchdowns. QBR rating 91.4 on 6 pass attempts, 56 yards passing.
He only played, a quarter?
Only played probably a quarter and a half. You know what I mean? I think it was 4 series that he played. His overall rating, 75.4. But, again, I think, as I mentioned earlier in my predictions, I felt like Anthony Richardson was my prediction for the best quarterback.
Rookie, right?
Our rookie quarterback.
Yeah, you've been on him, right?
But C.J. Stroud is making strides. Trust me, C.J. Stroud, they got a lot of young. That's an exciting team to watch.
Yeah.
If you get a chance this weekend, check out the Houston Texans. They got a lot of young players, a lot of things going on. You know what I mean? But they're young, going to be inefficient. But C.J. Stroud, 30 for 47, 384 yards in the second game. 384.
Wow.
Averaged 8.2 yards per pass, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The killer, that offensive line, sacked 6 times for 47 yards. 6 sacks, 1, he had 2 fumbles, lost 1, recovered 1, turnover there on the fumble. And the sack, the crazy thing is the sack came on that first drive. He had a sack fumble, which really set up the Colts to take that 14-0 lead. And they never, first drive of the game, he had a sack fumble on 3rd down. So they was looking at a 3 and out, and then he got sacked and fumbled. Anthony Richardson gets back, boop, 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 right back in there, 14-0, no looking back for Colts at that time.
I don't think I had that game. I don't got enough TVs, people.
But his QBR, and I feel like that was a pretty good game for him. QBR, 49.1. Overall rating was 103.5.
That's right.
So that's a huge discrepancy. Your rating 103.5, QBR 49.1. And again, you got Anthony Richardson, who only threw 10 passes, completed 6 for 56 yards.
Right.
Like, and the QBR rating, I mean, maybe the rushes for the touchdowns come into play on that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why. But how do you get a 91 QBR with 6 for 10, 56 yards?
Wow, crazy.
But again, it's looking at efficiency, looking at plays, looking at he did lead them on 2 drives,
and he helped his team win.
3 drives, 4 drives he played. You got touchdowns and a field goal. Maybe that plays a part.
I guess right. If a quarterback came out and his only drive led in a touchdown,
I think he'd have a huge QBR.
Right, and he was out the rest of the game. Would he have 100?
I would think he'd have to. I would think he'd have to. But yeah, I would think so. But I mean, that's what it looks like, kind of with what's this going on.
Not just 2 drives, but the time he played, like majority of his drives and then touchdowns, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, yeah.
But and the killer, like, I mean, with CJ, for him to pass like that, they got to get a running game going. I mean, Houston ran the ball 26 times for 52 yards.
Wow.
That's just not. I mean, that's not by lack of trying. It's just lack of players. Really, I put it on the O-line. You know what I mean? So we'll see. And they don't got a first-round draft pick next year because of the trade with the Cardinals. So we'll see what they got. But you can get offensive linemen late in the draft. They should have some cap space. But I feel like their offensive line right now is their detriment out there in Houston. But, again, this weekend, if you get a chance, check out Houston. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, the team was like, okay, we got a young quarterback. We want to mold him. Let's get a strong running game as possible.
You want to kind of run so he doesn't put the pressure on him.
Help Britter in Atlanta. Because I was watching B.J. Robinson. I mean, Rajon.
Yeah.
Rajon, right?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Rajon. And I'm like, damn, that's helping Britter out a whole lot. I just hands off to him half the time. Hell, shit. I got thought first
down. Algier that they can go to, too.
Right. But nothing I noticed about Atlanta, they D is kind of good. That one cat they had in the secondary, he was like.
They got here from Cincinnati.
I was like, God, that guy's pretty good.
Yeah. Safety.
But anyway,
he had 2 picks with 1. But next one, the biggest culprit of the empty calories, Denver and Russ. And the building them burnt down. We ain't even cooking no more. Building them burnt down. The thing, and the reason why I say Russ empty calories, when you get that script and that script look good, it's like Sean Payton is almost like a Hollywood writer. His script is just magnificent. You know what I mean? Them first 3 scripted drives, boop, 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 touchdown. Boop, 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 touchdown. Boop, 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 touchdown. You know what I'm saying? You're like, so we on to something. Playing Washington, underdog, Washington on the road, 18 for 32. Again, let's look at this empty calories. 18 for 32, 308. 9.9, 10 yards per pass, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, with 7 sacks for 31 yards. That QBR rating 53.5. Rating 107.3. Again, we got a huge disparity. He did have 1 fumble. But no, his QBR is terrible because the second half, he had 2 punts, 1 interception.
2 punts?
2 punts, like 2 3-and-outs. Both of them 3-and-outs. They went 3-and-out, 3-and-out. Right. So the defense ain't getting rest. You ain't moving the ball again. Empty calories to efficiency. You at that point got damn near a 20-point lead.
Right.
Just get a couple first downs, burn that clock, and let's get up out of here. This game over. Game over. Lamar protected a 7 to 10 point lead.
Was
a 3 to 7.
Was that Russ's fault or Sean? Because you said the first half.
That's Russ's.
Okay, so the script changed in the second half.
It's called halftime adjustment. So now we know what you're trying to do. So we gonna make adjustments defensively. Washington made adjustments defensively, so that wasn't there no more. So now, Russ, it's on you to find something else. Okay, we can't go to number one no more. They know number one coming. We got a number two over here, but you ain't looking at it. It's Russ. It's Russ. Like you throw an interception, you got 2 3 and outs. You end up with 2 field goals, so you got the lucky Hail Mary at the end of the game. And again, efficiency to empty calories, get that 2-point conversion. Shedeur Sanders, college football, took Colorado down the field, got the touchdown, and got the 2-point conversion to get it to overtime. Russ couldn't get the 2-point conversion. Empty calories. My man Tua, not a great game, but not necessarily a bad game. Again, like I said, Tua will be up and down, but he'll be there when it counts. 21 for 30, 249 passing, 8.3 average, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 sack for 5 yards lost, QBR 74.6, overall rating 92.2. He did have 2 fumbles. He recovered both those fumbles.
Speaking of which, I'm sorry, they play each other this week.
Who?
Those two, Russ and
Russ gonna have another bad game. Another bad game. You ain't gonna be able to keep up with the Miami track Dolphins. You ain't gonna be able to keep up with them. Like they got 5 people on that offense, 4.2. 5 on that offense. You know, the running backs run 5.4.
I was thinking about that game as I was walking my dog, and I was like, man, you better come ready the night before. Wow, your DBs better be running up and down the. They
don't
better
play man. Don't play man.
They better be ready because those cats gonna have you winded.
You better play a soft zone, mix up a little bit of man with 2 over. If you go man, go 2 over top. Go 2 over top if you go man.
I'm in the cardiac arrest. I'm thinking about, man, if you're a DB, you got Miami on your schedule, you be like, okay, I need to get my rest tonight. I need to be ready. I need to get my fast shoes. Honey, where are the fastest shoes I have? You gonna need them.
I need them. And some extra ones in case I burn through these because they're going to be gone.
You're going to be gone.
But the thing with efficiency, again, Tua not great, but again, he was able to jump out in front, and he kind of made the plays when he needed to kind of keep them out in front and just get to the end of the 4th quarter, and let's get up out of New England with the win. Again, like we said, at the end of the day, the dub is all that matters. You know what I mean? Let's be efficient. Let's get up out of here, and let's go home and prepare for the Dolphins, and we'll pad them stats next week. Tua, 350 next week, 4 touchdowns. You heard it here first. 350, 4 touchdowns next week. Then the most interesting game, and I kind of alluded to this earlier. Oh, my man Watson. Watson, can you hear me? Watson, can you hear me?
That's a good one.
This is crazy.
He can't hear you.
22 for 40. Almost 50% completion rate. 235, 5.9, almost the lowest pass yards per attempt of any quarterbacks that played. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 6 sacks, 25 yards, QBR of 16.5. He deserved that. That one was fitting. That QBR, I got no questions about that one. That one was fitting. Rating of 70.3.
His rating is that high. I thought his QBR was going to be negative.
It should have been negative. It should have been negative for this sense right here. The thing about it is I talked about my man DTR. I talked about him all year. And at this point, you got to pay him. Regardless, you got to pay him. But at this point, this is one thing I always say. Are we winning because of you or in spite of you? And right now, the Browns are winning in spite of Deshaun Watson.
I wouldn't give him one just yet.
If Deshaun Watson had a fumble for a touchdown and a pick 6, that's 12 points.
Right.
If he doesn't have that, they win the game.
I know.
They win the game.
I know.
They win the game.
And that's what's killing me about the hype for Pittsburgh.
And in week 1, you played terrible too. You didn't do nothing. So in week 1, Chubb carried you, defense carried you. So this is where now we win in spite of you.
I would, but
not because of you.
Pain, I would give them just a little bit more opportunity. But
I mean, they don't give them halfway through the season, but when you get to 2-7, it's over with. Because what's the point of keep playing? You might as well throw the young guy in there. You got to pay him anyways. Let the young guy get 5, 6, 7 games to start next year with the young guy.
I don't think it's that point. Yeah, just give it a chance. Let's see what happens. I was just hurt when Chubb got hurt. I stopped watching the game. That was an ugly injury. I'm sorry, but it just bothered me. And then Deshaun is playing like garbage. That's what man Smeez said. He's like writing him off already.
I mean, it's over with. It's over.
I'm gonna get
my buddy Jay Ferret, my buddy at work. Shout out to you, buddy. He stopped by my desk. He was like, "Oh, Deshaun, we cannot do it with him." This is from a diehard Cleveland Browns fan through and through. Probably the biggest, born and raised there. Believe in him, even terrible years. Still believing in the Cleveland Browns. And he thought he was like, Tyrone, we can't do it with him. So I mean, we'll see who's Cleveland got next week. They got the Ravens coming up soon too. Like
I can't remember all the games,
but
they had an opportunity to win the game, I believe.
But the last one, Dobbs. Dobbs came out hot. Touchdown, jumped up big. I would have threw Dobbs in the empty calories, but we know he's just a plug-in starter right now. Like next year, he'll resort back to his backup role, which he'll be a decent backup. But 21 for 31, 288, 7.4, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, no sack. QBR 74.9, rating 99.9. He did have 3 rushing attempts for 41 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. The key to it is when the Giants were making their comeback, and this is where, again, empty calories. The last 4 drives for the Cardinals, 3 3-and-outs, and 1 8-yard that resulted in a punt. So that's 4 drives.
Nothing.
And all you needed was a couple first downs or a field goal. You probably win that game.
And you send the Giants back to New York 0-2. 0-tizzle, people. And then they scratching and wondering what the hell's wrong with everybody.
But again, the Cardinals got a bigger picture in mind. That number 1 draft pick. Who
that might be? Well, Caleb?
It'd be worth a lot of money if you don't want to come here and they get traded, they get 3 first-round draft picks for it. So now for next year, you'd have almost 3 first-round draft picks. Like the Cardinals can make some moves. They can change that program.
They win more games
new ownership. They need new ownership. The Cardinals? I don't think so.
Okay, we'll see about that one, people. I think they will win more games than the Panthers. But anyway, that's it.
So didn't do the Panthers pull the Cardinals?
And get another one?
And trade. Remember when they trade Josh Rosen for Kyler? Do they? Hey, Young, it was real, but not so real.
I mean, really, if we go the whole season and they like 0-12, because without some help, I don't see them winning the game.
I mean, the defense is playing hard, but the defense only going to play hard for about 6 to 7, 8 weeks.
That's what I'm saying.
Without some wins and some things to make me feel good.
Look like they're going to win the game.
Without that, then the defense eventually will fade on you, unfortunately.
Well, that's about it for this week, people. Like I said, if you watch the videos, we really appreciate it. If you make comments, we really appreciate that as well. The website, blackqbsineffect.com, and the YouTube channel, the Black Quarterback Forum. We're going to be here all year talking about it. We love football. We know you do too. So comment. It's okay. You see me wearing all different jerseys. But man, you know.
I'm wearing the Ray Lewis Super Bowl jersey. He's putting those good vibes out there in the air for Ravens Saints Super Bowl 2024.
I say Ravens Cowboys. So we'll see.
That's different from your first pick, though.
I know.
I'm sticking with my same one.
I know. I change up, man.
And we both got Saints in top tier.
Right.
We both got Saints top tier.
Yeah,
you had the Saints winning the division.
I got a Saints jersey, too. Okay. I told you I'm a fan on Sunday. I'm the biggest fan of all, too, people. We love football. We get at you. Take care.
All right.